Google's own crawl team just published a 2-line fix. Ship it this week, get more pages indexed, ignore it, and your competitors eat your slots in the index. I am talking about the 304 status code. One command to check, one line to fix, and almost every small business site on the internet is failing it right now. Here is what you are getting in the next 10 minutes. What Google actually said, in plain English, no jargon. The 60-second check you can run on your own site tonight, no developer required. The one-line fix per platform, WordPress, Shopify, Webflow, custom, and a payoff nobody in the small business SEO world has caught yet, worth staying for. Let me start with the one Google buried in a doc update most channels never read. Search Engine Journal caught it last week. Google updated their crawl budget documentation. 2 additions. First one, the one everybody skipped. Quote, support 304 not modified HTTP status codes. If a page has not changed since Google last crawled it, returning a 304 tells Google to reuse the cached version, saving your server bandwidth and resources. End quote. In plain English, a 304 is your server telling Googlebot, nothing has changed here, do not bother reloading it, go crawl something new. A 200, the default, is your server saying, here is the whole page again, all the HTML, every byte, every time, whether it changed or not. Imagine you run a print shop. Google is FedEx picking up a delivery every day. Right now, your shop is handing FedEx the full order every single visit, even for the customer who buys the same brochure every month. A 304 is you saying, same order as yesterday, just take it. FedEx moves faster, you do less work. Google saves crawl budget. Your new pages get picked up sooner.
And here is the second addition Google made, the one that changes who this affects. Quote, while each crawler has a different crawl demand, the crawl capacity limit is shared across all crawlers. High demand from one crawler can reduce the capacity available for others. End quote. Translation, Googlebot, Googlebot image, Googlebot news, they all draw from one pool. Your bloated image folder is starving your money pages. Your slow blog archive is starving your new product launches.
One shared budget, and the sites that trim the fat first get the recrawls.
It's bungled and I not be one to be a seal. For blood and for space, I need you longer here. My aim's for the street, don't come on front me and straight. Yeah, from my fans for this, you burn just for one life. Here's the front page and your own front source. Front is slim to front. The least can find me and swim from the ones. So we are from the front, that's the first house from the stand. Some of our lives, that's all the awesome stuff. Some front and some front source. The first is from us, kids and trades and stuff.
Most agency thought leadership is going to tell business owners this does not apply to them. Wrong. The mechanic applies to every site, and here is who bleeds hardest. Not the enterprise on dedicated hosting with a full-time performance team, they already handle it. The small operator on shared hosting is the one bleeding. Their server is slower, so every 200 response costs more, and their crawl budget is smaller to begin with. If Googlebot has 30 seconds a day on your site and each page takes half a second to fully re-render, that is 60 pages. If those same pages return 304s in 20 milliseconds each, that is 1500, 25 times more crawl capacity from one fix. Now the villain, who has been benefiting from the status quo. The agency's charging you a monthly retainer to submit URLs manually in Search Console. The indexing tools charging $50 a month to ping Google every time you publish. Both of them will still be selling that service next week because they know most business owners never learn what their server is actually saying to Googlebot. And who wins? The operator who runs one command tonight and knows whether their site is passing or failing. You, if you stay to the next 60 seconds, right? Let me show you the check. It runs in your terminal in under a minute. No developer, no plugin, no dashboard login. Open your terminal. curl-I-H, quote, if modified since :wed,01 Jan 2025, close quote, and your homepage URL. Send that request. What you are asking your server in plain English. Pretend Google last crawled this on New Year's Day. Has it changed since? If your server replies HTTP 304, you win. Your site is already saving crawl budget. If your server replies HTTP 200 with a full content length in the thousands, you have the proof your server is burning it, not me telling you, your own server admitting it out loud. I asked Claude for the one-line Nginx directive that fixes this on static HTML pages. 271 output tokens later, it handed back the exact block. Last modified header set from the document date, if modified since set to exact, done. Nginx serves 304s by default on static files. The failure case is somebody explicitly turned it off, or a module stripped the header. And for WordPress, one plugin setting inside W3 total cache. Performance, browser cache, enable set last modified. Ship that this week. Every SEO channel covering this story is reading the Search Engine Journal headline out loud with no live demo. You just watch the demo. You just watched Claude generate the exact fix in under 20 seconds. You now have more actionable information from 10 minutes of this video than from every generic cruel budget listicle Google returns when you search the topic. Vinide Badian Dolby the Shron Cremans, Badian Dulbar Tube, you Madian Dolbin. It helps me keep pulling this stuff apart the same week Google ships it. Which brings US to the fix per platform, because most of you are not on raw Nginx. 5 stacks, 5 fixes, ranked by how much you get for the effort. WordPress, if you run W3 Total Cache or WP Rocket, the setting exists, enable it. If you run a bare WordPress install on cheap shared hosting, install one caching plugin, flip the browser cache section on. Cost, nothing. Time, 10 minutes. Second, Shopify. You do not fix this yourself. Shopify handles last modified at the platform level. Around 90% of Shopify stores are already returning 304s on their product pages. Run the curl check anyway, confirm it, move on. Third, Webflow and Squarespace. Same story, platform handles it, confirm with the check, move on. Fourth, Next.js and custom node. Here is the trap. Your default is 200 on every dynamic route unless somebody wired up etag or last modified. Hand your developer this line. Our dynamic routes need conditional request handling, etag or last modified, return 304 when the content has not changed. 2-hour job for a competent dev. Bill under £200. Fifth, and this one is worth checking even if you passed the first 4. Your CDN, Cloudflare, Fastly. If you sit behind one, a 304 from your origin might still be masked as a 200 by cache behavior and you never see the win. Run the curl check against your live public URL, not your origin. If the CDN is stripping conditional headers, your developer or agency needs to configure pass-through. 15 minutes on a call, every one of those fixes is a 1-week ship. None of them cost more than a few hundred to implement. And the payoff, the one nobody has caught yet, lands in Search Console inside 2 to 4 weeks. Let me show you what it looks like. Here is the beat every other channel missed, ship the 304 fix, wait 2 weeks, open Search Console, crawl stats report. Look at total crawl requests versus response status breakdown. Before the fix, you see almost all 200s with maybe a scatter of redirects. After, you see a rising share of 304s and a rising total request count, both. Google is not just replacing 200s with 304s. Google is recrawling more of your site because you gave the budget back. 60 pages a day becomes 600. 600 becomes what your site actually deserves. And here is the compounding win. Every new post you publish gets discovered faster. Every product update propagates faster. Every schema tweak, every internal link change, every content refresh gets picked up in a week instead of a month. Your entire content operation moves 25 times faster on the same content team. Same writer, same editor, same designer. 25 times the index velocity, not an SEO win. A compounding cost advantage over every competitor who did not ship this. The agency charging your competitor $2,000 a month for indexing services is now selling a problem you fixed for the cost of one plugin setting. Open Search Console right now. Settings, crawl stats. You are looking at the proof, not me telling you. Screenshot it today, ship the fix this week, screenshot it again in 3 weeks. You are holding your before and after, and a case study your agency, your board, or your investor will actually care about because it maps to revenue, not to a technical metric. One last thing. Everything I covered today, the curl command, the fix per stack, the Search Console screenshot template, the developer brief you can copy and paste, lives inside the Church of SEO Jesus, my free school community, free to join, link in the description and pinned comment. Every fix I break down on this channel goes in there the same week Google ships it before your competitors catch on. Run the check on your own site tonight, post your before and after in the cruel budget thread. Next up on the end screen, the AI search fix that is quietly taking traffic off the sites that miss it. Watch that one.